In this video, I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can create a GPS track or GPS course that you can follow on your SwimJury training sessions. The first method you can do using strictly the SmartSwim. So what we're going to do is we're going to record a session, finish the session, save it, and then name that session as the course or the track that we're going to follow on the next session. And we'll show you here, I'm take some screenshots of the overhead and show you what that looks like on the head-up display and what you're going to be viewing during the time that you're creating the session and at the time that you're following the results. Step 1, we're going to open up the configuration tool. I'm going to go over there now, and I'm going to put the system into grid mode. If I put it in grid mode, I can see where I've been swimming during the session. I know exactly where I'm going to swim, and I know the course I'm going to outline, but I want to actually be able to see that on my eye as it's happening. So I'm going to scroll down in the config tool down to the point where it wants us to turn on tracks. Our compass is in accuracy mode, that's good. And down here it says GPS show tracks, so we're going to pick that option and we're going to turn it on. So now what that's going to do is show us the grid and the compass and the heading, and it'll also show us where we've been. So we're going to go out on this course. This is an out and back course. We're going to go out to the end, turn around and come back, and we'll see our tracks on our way back as we're heading back to the finish. And the course here is undefined because we're swimming the course. That's what we're going to do. So let's exit out of config tool, and our zoom is in 1x. We're at 1x zoom. So let's move over to the Open Water app now, and we're going to open that up. And here we go. We need to wait for GPS lock. So during this time, this will be the version 1 method. So I'm going to do all of this independent of any other system, desktop computer or your phone. You can create the course, and then you can save that as the like your daily training routine, and follow that course every time you go training. Okay, so here we go. We're in grid mode now. This is session 29. And we're 7 or 6 satellites at about 6 or 5%. So I'm going to try to get it set up so I can press start and get going here. Okay, so here we go. We're going to walk down, turn right, come back, turn left, and head home. So I press start, and you see the grid mode there. Satellites at 5, the percent error is at 2%. That's great. You get a countdown. You'll see we're right at the center. The grid says we're about 0 or 4 meters, yards from the origin. So I'm going to put my head down now in the simulation swim here. I'm going to get into the swim state mode. And then we're now heading sort of in an easterly direction, if you look at the compass there. And you can see a little bit of the grid line starts to show you the tracks. And the very fine line you're seeing there is the raw data coming in from the GPS satellite. And very soon now, you'll see a straight course line show up. That's the smart course that you'll be following. I'm going to stop and rest there. 64 yards. And there's our first marker. That first smart course marker. And I'm going to rest here for a little bit. And then I'm going to head south, more due south here, and kind of make a 90-degree turn in this course. All right, so ready, and we're about to hit the back leg. So we head down. So we put our head down in swim mode again. And you can see the yellow marker just got dropped. That's a rest point. And I see all this, you see all that on your eye. And your goal now is to head south on a 90-degree turn, roughly. Now, generally, you get the idea. The red reticle is where you are, and the red line is the smart course, and the magenta line there, that's the raw GPS data that's coming in from the satellite. And we get to the end of this segment of the course, and we're going to stop again. So we stop, and I'm resting here, and we'll rest here for a few more minutes. Very good. So we're now resting. I'm going to turn around now. I'm going to swim back. Okay, now watch what happens here. Now I'm heading north. You see the compass is pointing north. And now basically everything trails behind you. What's in front is of course we're going to follow back. So here we go. We're going to put our head down again and we begin swimming. And you see the swim state changes and we'll start swimming. There's a plus sign. We just dropped the rest point there. We're heading back, and your goal should be to, you're going to do subtle motion. The goal is to try to keep the red reticle on the course you swim out at. Okay, so you can see it'll cross over a little bit, and you want very subtle motion, not quick erratic motions. Very easy, very slow turning to get you across the course and back onto the course again. It's kind of like riding a bike. You got to get used to the rate that things are changing. Okay, and we're just about at our first rest, so we're going to stop again and rest. And you can see we're resting now, and we're almost exactly where we were at the first rest point. And we're going to rest here at this turn a few more seconds. Okay, and then we're going to put our head down, and the longer I rest, the more accurate that the yellow rest points, when they drop, the more accurate that waypoint's going to be. And you can see the magenta line again. It's the little noisier line from the GPS satellite. And depending on conditions that you're swimming in, if you've got rough seas, rough water, yeah, it's going to be, your accuracy is going to go down. It will definitely fall because water will affect the signaling. And waves and rough seas versus super smooth. Okay, here we go. Head down. We're going to finish this back leg. And then I'm going to show you. So you can see now we're trying to follow, and you can combination of the course lines and knowing that you're swimming, the course you want to swim. You're going to aim in sight, and it'll keep you on that line. So here we might want to move. We're going to swim a little bit to our left because we're off course. A little more to our left, and then you'll see it start to cross over. If it crosses over, you've gone too far, right? So you're going to want to head back to where you started. Okay, looking good. So we're almost at the beginning again here, right at the start marker. And we'll stop. There you go. So now we're pretty close. We're within the 4 or 5 meters. So it's plus or minus 5 meters. And there we go. So that's going to be a course we just finished, a session we just finished. I'm going to save it. So we press the save button. That's going to come up. And the save dialog shows up, session 29. I'm going to press it again. It takes a second, save. Session 29 is now saved. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of the Open Water app. That was session 29. And then what I'm going to do is go over to the config tool, and we're going to load that as a course to follow. Okay, so let's go over to the configuration tool. I'm going to open that up. And then you can see we're back where we were. We're at the zooming. The default zoom is setting as 1x. So we're going to down to a GPS course file. And I'm going to hit select. It says undefined. I now want to pick session 29, I believe it was. So let's go down. There it is, session 29. So we have a KML or it can be GPX, and there's the Smart 29 KML file. So we're going to select that file as our course map. And when we do, it brings up a dialog that giving you a recommended name. I could bring up the keyboard now and change that, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it there because it already put the prefix code, the TRK dash. This will bring the course to the top of the list. So all of your courses you want to define that are like typical places you go to, if you put that prefix code in there, it'll bring them at the top of the sort. So we're going to save the course exactly as it's named. And then if we scroll down, you can see the full name there in the field. Oh, wait a minute. Scroll back up. And there it is. And that's correct. So we're good. I'm going to leave the default at 1x zoom. I'm going to change that. Let's go up. I'm going to set the default zoom to 2x. And you can change this in real time. You can scroll through the different zooms by using the up and down buttons. But we're going to keep it at 2x. That's going to put us out, zoomed out quite a bit actually. So let's go over to open water again, and we're going to load it up, and we're going to run the course again. And just to give you a quick idea of what this course looks like once you pull it in. And we got to wait for a system lock now, a GPS lock. And this is going to be session 30. So now we're going to follow the same course we just swam. And there was no interaction with the computer or my phone, nothing. Everything has been done from SmartSwim at this point. But I can then download this to my phone and then share it through email to other people. They can upload through their the pairing app to get a share of this course that we just did. And there you can see the green line. And the green line is the course we're going to follow. Now we're zoomed out at 2x here. Now we're going to swim the course again. So I'm going to now press start again on my SmartSwim. We press the start button here. And we begin. We get the countdown. 3, 2, 1, and go. So head down and we start swimming. Now we're really zoomed out pretty far here. So, but you see now the goal is to follow the green line. I don't have the red line because I haven't laid any course down yet. But I have the green line, which is the course I'm now following. Okay, I'm going to follow the course to the first yellow buoy, and you see the yellow triangle there. So I'm seeing all this on my eye as we're swimming, and I'm a little off. I'm going to head to the right. And I'm going to show you here if I get too far off course, we'll keep going to the right. Heading to the right, and you can see we're a little too far. So we went a little too far off course. We're too far to the right. So now I'm going to head back to the left. Slightly, slowly. Everything is done slowly. You got to wait. You got to give the sensor time to figure out where you are. And it's kind of a combination between the two. And we're finally back at the back corner here. We'll stop again. There you go. So we made the first leg. And we'll do the back leg the same way. We're just going to complete this course just for the sake of completing the course here. Head down. We start swimming again. Here we go. And I'm a little slightly to the right of the course there. I can see that. But like I said, you're going to make a subtle adjustment to the left. And you can see the sensor's finding me again. It's catching up to me. And then we'll keep heading out. And we're zoomed at 2x now. So it looks we're a bit far out. But still giving you the idea, the concept and visual of what you're going to be seeing. And we're right about at the same buoy marker we were at the second rest stop. Very good. Now we're going to turn around. I'm going to head back. So you can see we're getting pretty close here. The compass is heading north now. We're going to head in the north direction. And here we go. Begin. You see the transition state. And the red reticle is where you are, the center of the screen. You're trying to stay on the green line. Your goal is to stay on that green line. It takes a little bit of patience. Very doable though. When it's on your eye, you totally see. Now, if we had Google Maps, a real map of the terrain mapping, what would you be seeing right now? Well, it'd all be a blue background. Okay, good. You'd see nothing but a blue background, the ocean, the lake. Really wouldn't be much help. The bigger thing is to actually have the course that you're trying to follow. So now we overshot that a little bit. We're pretty close. We're within the 4 or 5 meters of the yellow buoys there. All right, so here we go. Head down. Finish the course. Now we're heading west. In a westward direction. See the compass is indicated there. And we're a little bit to the right of the course. Now we're coming off to the left a little bit. But that's pretty good. We're driving a good line. Keep that line. So I think you get the idea here. We're almost to the end. And it's a little tougher when you're zoomed out. If you're zoomed out too far, to get yourself closer to where you really want to be. Okay, done. Mission accomplished. We just did the full course there. And that was all done with your SmartSwim. I'll hit stop. Stop. And it's going to ask to save. We'll hit save. Again. Session 30 saved. Now, everything we just did was done through SmartSwim. There was no interaction with the computer. There was no desktop, no phone, and it's all stored in my SmartSwim. So the next time I go out here, you can zoom in or out and you can see to follow that same course. In the next step of this video, I'm going to show you how to use Google Maps to draw a map or an outline of your course that you're going to be swimming on. Save the map, export that map as a KML, and send it via email to your smart. So the first thing you're going to do is open your Google Maps. You're going to see Google Maps here. Google Chrome is open, and I want to be sure that I'm logged into my account. So then you're going to go over here under the Maps tab up here, and you're going to click that, and that's going to bring you to the Google Maps page. Now once there, what we're going to do is I'm going to start to begin with a new map. So under the Maps tab, you see here there's a menu option. You want to click the menu option here, and that will bring down your places. You want to go down to your places here, and then up here you can see these are places you've been to, maps you've previously done. So you want to go up here, you have 4 tabs, and you want to select the Maps tab up there. And so these are all the maps that I've done so far. You can see here they all have the special prefix code, the TRK dash in front of the map name. That's very important to have that prefix code in there if you want them to show up at the top of the list, search list, when you're setting them in your SmartSwim configuration app. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to start from scratch. So we're going to create a new map. So you select the Create Map button. And then from here, we're going to put, this is going to show you general map. We're going to type in an address we're going to search for. And I'm going to go directly to my place where I locally do my swims at. You can also import KML files. So you can import a KML file into here of maybe a place that you swam or a session you finished, and it will render it for you, and you can see your results of your sessions. But for now, we're going to make a map to swim on. So I'm going to search for Canandaigua Lake, and we're going to say Kershaw Park. Do that search, and here we are. This is where we normally do our swim training. So up here, I'm going to click on Untitled Map. I'm going to give it a name. So we're just going to call this TRK dash, because that'll be the name of the export, and you want that special tag in there, Open Water Training. And then that'll be the title. Then in the description, this is a special tag we have to have. This tag must appear in every one of your tracks that you're making. Smart Swim Community. You want this tag in there, and this is in our user's guide. And we'll save that. That's the start of your map. That's good to go. Now, like I said before, you could import GPS points from somebody else if they did a course or training session for yourself and to make modifications, or you could have swam it once and imported that swim and make modifications. So in this case, I'm going to put the blue map is typically what you'll see on the SmartSwim, but I'm going to put the satellite map up here just so I have a reference point of what the terrain looks like and give me something closer to what I would see if I was actually out there. So I'll give you an example. If I zoom in here, you can see that if you zoom in here, you can see the public swimming area, and you can see the lane lines they typically put out there. All right, so we want to stay away from that. So we'll zoom back out. And typically we start, for this one, we're going to start at the boat launch here. And then in this mode, you can see you have basically your design tools. Since you created a new map, you have a design tool. And you have the ability here to undo or redo points that you pulled. You can select items, you can add a marker, you can draw a line, you can add directions, or you can measure areas. So for this example here, we're just going to create a path, add a line, and I'm going to start here on the beach, We're going to swim out about 100 yards or so. I know where that is, so I'm going to mark it there. Now I can stop that now and just, okay, we'll leave it as the course line. Hit save and minimize that. Now let's see here. Let's use a measuring tool to say how far is that. Oh, okay, well that's 330 feet. That's roughly 110 yards. Right, so you're about 110 yards there. And we can go from there. We can take another measurement. Again, let's say from this line, we'll say we'll go to 900 feet, which is roughly 300 yards. So 300 yards puts us at about this point here. I got some markers there. I can drop a waypoint. So let's do that now. We're going to take a waypoint. I'm going to drop it right there. Boom. And you can see it'll put the waypoint marker there for you. And I want this to be, so there are special coded buoys, named buoys that'll get you different colors. If I don't change the color, it's going to be orange if I don't change its name. If I change the name right here to say start, then this buoy, when I'm looking at it, well, I'm assuming it's going to be a green buoy. And if I change this label to say rest, then it's going to be a yellow buoy. And if I change it to direction, it'll be a red buoy. And if we change the name to stop, it'll be a red buoy. So for now, we're just going to leave it generic. Orange buoy. And I can repaint this buoy now just for note to myself that, yeah, this is going to be an orange buoy. So it shows up orange. And that's 300 yards. So now we're going to go back to path. And if you select the path itself, it'll allow you to edit the path. But you got to kind of, it's a little tough to get in there. But once you highlight it, if you scroll over it, there, it's now editing the path. And then what we'll do is go back out of there in satellite mode, and we're going to draw to the outside edge to the orange buoy. Boom. And then we can continue drawing. We'll come back here, let's say on a triangle. We'll make sort of a triangular course on that. We'll say go out to here. It's roughly another 300 yards. Boom. And then we'll take the final triangular course and in there. And we'll save that. Done. Done. So now you have a course line going out. You have your triangle course out here. And then we'll put a few buoys in there. Let's say we'll put a rest buoy right here. And we'll call that rest. Save it. And we'll paint that yellow because we know that's going to be a yellow buoy once we get out there. And then here we're going to call this, we'll insert a final buoy here. This is a directional buoy, so we'll make this direction, a direction change. Direction. So now you have a directional change. We'll leave that at blue because it's actually going to be blue on your Smart Swim. It'll show up as a blue triangle. This will be an orange triangle. It'll show up. And you can add more triangles. You can add more to the path, as complex as you'd like. You can draw stencils or whatnot. Maybe you can put buoys, different color code the buoys. The orange buoys maybe are for bad areas, for standing, areas you want to swim through, that sort of thing. And then we'll have a start and a stop buoy, so we can do that right here. We're going to put your start buoy right there, and we'll call this start. Done. And we're going to make start green, which is what color it will be when you get there to the shoreline. And then we're going to add a stop buoy. It's effectively where we want you to stop here, and we'll make this stop. Okay, there it is, stop. and stop is red. So it's going to show up as red in your SmartSwim head-up display that you're going to be looking at. Okay, so there's your course, and the course is finished now. So at this point in time, with the special string names you went over, those are the buoys, your map is completed. Okay, so at this point we want to export this as a KML. So it's already saved, and it's saved as Track Open Water Training. And we have the special SmartSwim community tag there. And then you can see it will show you all of the layers. It'll show you the rest points that you have in there. So you can see there, and as you go over them, it'll highlight them on the map. There's your stop point, there's your start, there's your directional change, there's a rest point right there, and our generic orange buoy. So you're ready to go. This map's ready to be exported. So this is effectively the course we're going to be swimming on. So now you're finished with the map. You go back over to here and you can see the different menu options. So up here we're going to pick this menu option, and you have all these various options, and the one you're interested in now is export to KML. So we pick this, and then we're going to make sure you check the export as KML, and then you hit the download button. The download button then puts it down here in the tab here. It shows you it's in the download folder, and the name is already the TRK, the special name, Open Water Training. So let's show in folder. If we show in folder, it'll show you where it's located. So we now want to send this file. What we're going to do now is we're going to send this file via email to our SmartSwim. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. We're going to send it to, send this to our email, and then on your phone, the Android phone, you're going to open up the pairing app, and you're going to download this file to your phone and then upload it to your SmartSwim. And then you're going to pick it as your course map. So let me show you how that works now. So here I am in my inbox. I'm going to send to myself a copy of the GPS map we just made in Google Maps. So let me put that together here, and I'm going to give it a tag, upload to my SmartSwim. Upload this GPS course map to follow. Boom. So we hit the attachment button here, and remember we just saved it from Google Maps, and it actually exports to our downloads directory. So if you go into our downloads folder, you'll see it's right there. And I don't know if it's going to record this. So I pick that guy, and it attaches it from my downloads folder, and you can see it's now there attached. Now I'm going to hit send. Okay, there it is. Now it's sent. On our sent folders. Now we know it's sent to our sent folders. So now what we're going to do is open up our phone, and on our cell phone, we're basically going to open up our inbox, and we're going to open up that email that we sent to ourselves in our inbox. And you'll see in there that the training file is attached and waiting for us to download to our phone. So we're going to click on it once here, and I'm just going to show you. I've already downloaded. We'll click on it again, and it'll ask us to download it. And since we already did that once, it's okay. We know what's in there. So it's now, the training course is now on my phone in the downloads folder. So I'm going to exit my inbox now that I have it in the downloads folder. I'm going to open up the pairing app, the Vuzix SmartSwim pairing app. It's going to automatically pair with my SmartSwim, which is currently connected to. I'm going to press the upload button now on the pairing app. So we'll select that, and that's going to open up and give us some options here. I'm going to select GPS track, and then from GPS track, right at the top of the list, you'll see it there. We'll select the open water training course that we just downloaded from our inbox. And now that's done, so we just successfully uploaded it to our SmartSwim. It's now sitting in our SmartSwim. So now we're going to go to our SmartSwim now, and what I'm showing you here now is the head-up display in the SmartSwim, what we're looking at. And I'll scroll over to the System Configuration app, which you'll see that in a moment. We'll go over to there. I'm going to select that as our training course. So we'll open up System Configure, and we're going to scroll down. The zoom tracks are at 2x. We're going to scroll down the GPS course file, and we're going to select that, and then it'll give us the list of course maps. And if you go all the way to the top, you'll see the TRK files at the top. And the second one down there you'll see is our TRK Open Water Training KML course map that we just uploaded from our cell phone to our SmartSwim. And then we're going to ask us to rename. It's good to go. We don't want to rename it, so we'll just tap once, go down, hit save. And it's now set as our open water course map. Zooms are set to 2x and show tracks are turned on. Show tracks must be turned on to be in grid mode in order for us to see this in the open water app. So we'll exit the config tool. We'll scroll over to the open water app. And if you look in there, it's now in grid mode. You can see the red reticle, it's ready. The next time we show up on our course at our swimming hole, we'll see where we swim train, we'll see grid mode, and we'll see that map rendered on our training course. Now I'm going to show you using Google Earth Pro and an image overlay how to trace that out for a GPS course map we can follow on our SmartSwim. So the first thing we're going to do is get a stencil we can trace. So one of the techniques I've used is to open up Google search, what have you, and in here we're going to trace a hexagon. So we'll look for, search for hexagon, and I'm going to go under images for the stencils. And there's other ways you could draw your own, or you could take pictures for your own stencils, or what have you. So right here, we'll just take the first guy, say something with some color in it might help. And we're going to save this, save image as, and we'll put that here in our temporary storage directory as a, and we'll call it hexagon download. Good enough. We're going to save that. And there we go. Now we're going to exit out of here. We know what that is, and we're going to open up Google Earth Pro. From my desktop, I'm going to use Google Earth Pro to create the same map, only use a stencil with an overlay to draw the map out. Same as we did with our Google Maps. So in the search box up here, I'm going to type in Canandaigua, New York. Bring up that address, we'll search, and this will take you right to your favorite training, open water training course. And then in here, we're going to put an overlay stencil. So we're going to put an image overlay in here first. The overlay area shows up here, and then up here it's saying image overlay. We're going to call this hexagon course. Like this. And then we're going to browse for that image we just downloaded. Right over to here. And we're going to load this guy up. We'll use this guy. And immediately you see your image in there and with the maps in the background. So you want to leave this up, and you're going to leave this up, and we're going to tweak it. First of all, I'm going to change the transparency. And you can see as you adjust the transparency, you can make it clearer from the background or darker, depending. So we're going to put it about halfway, a little less than halfway. And then don't dismiss this dialog yet, because I want to work this a little bit. It's a little too big, obviously, for our swimming hole here. So I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to shrink it down. And you can change aspect ratio doing this. You can move the map around, grab it in the center, move it over to about where you think you want to have your course mapped out. And you can change, you know, you can make it tall, skinny, short, change the aspect ratio, that sort of thing. So we're going to try to keep the hexagonal shape to it here. And we're just going to put it somewhere, say here. And I want these sides to be about 100, 150 meters. So that's pretty close because I'm familiar with it. But you can always go back. I'm going to show you here in a minute. I'll bring the design tool up. So we're going to have our hexagon swim session right about here. And I like that's pretty good. So we're good to go. So I'm just going to say OK with that. So now your overlay is going to stay here. And we want to trace this hexagonal course and put some buoys down. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a path. So we go up here and you're going to say path. We're going to click on this guy. You can put a place mark for buoys. We'll get to that in a minute. So we select path, and you can name it here. We'll call this hexagon path. like so, and what have you. You can change the color and the style. So it's defaulting to, I will make it red so we can clearly see the path that we're outlining. And you want to leave this guy up while you're adding the path. Leave the dialog, the edit path dialog up. Hexagon path, that's good. Great. And then we're going to go over here and start our path at the shoreline. And this is where we enter the water. This is the boat launch area. So I'm going to start here with the first point, and we're going to go right to the lower edge here, to the starting of the first edge of our hexagon. And you're just going to trace that out all the way around your swimming area. There it is. There you go. And then we're going to end the course where we started, back at the boat launch. This gives you a little channel to follow to get started. So we're good with the path. The outline looks good. The trace is done. So now I'm going to add some waypoint markers in here, and I'll explain those. Very similar to what we did on the GPS map, the Google map. So we're going to hit the place mark, add place mark, and this first place mark, we're going to call a start. Okay? Start. And that's, again, the special tag that we had talked about, the special naming convention. And the start is green, so I'm going to change the color to green. Both this, the label name, and the physical icon is now going to be green. And then we're going to move the buoy marker anywhere we want. We're going to move it right here to the shoreline, because that's our starting buoy. And we're done with that buoy. Now we're going to add the end place mark, or the stop. So you want to put this as stop. Place mark, and you can add others like this. Put a description. Style and color is now green, is going to be red, and this is the color you will see in your SmartSwim. And it's not because you color coded it. It's that color in SmartSwim on the map because you have labeled it stop. I'll show you a quick pattern here to the side. You'll see here in the video. I'll just paste it in there. All the color-coded buoy markers and what their definitions are. If I just laid a generic buoy marker down here, it's going to be orange. Any of them I label specifically, it will be that, that color. So we want to move that stop. So we're going to right-click and say Edit Properties. When you bring Property Box up, and now allows you to move it around. So, and we'll put it at the end of the lake. So a little bit different here. This feature edit and whatnot is a little bit different than Google Maps, but you'll get used to that. So you have your start and end here. We're going to put a rest area right there. So we're going to add another place mark for resting. I'm going to call this rest yellow. Anything labeled rest with the capital R, it's going to be colored yellow. So we'll change that now. And there you go. And that's good. So we're going to move this guy. No, we want to move it. So we'll go back down here. Red, rest. Let's move that to our first rest area. Right there. Okay. Now, let's say we wanted to copy this. I can right-click, say copy. And then I'm going to say right-click. I can say paste. Let's do the pasting over the name. Paste. Rest yellow. And it copies it there. So we'll take the second rest, properties, and we're going to move that over to here. Say OK, because it's another rest. Right-click and say paste again. Right-click, we're going to say properties and move again. Okay, so now you have another rest area. Okay. Right-click and paste, and I'm going to just put all four. I'm gonna put a rest stop at each of the edges of the hexagon. So when we swim the course, we're going to stop at each edge of the hexagon. You could go straight swim it, a larger size map, straight swim it. Might make more sense to just put a transition point in there, or even just leave it and follow the lines, because you're going to see the lines. You will see the lines as you are swimming. You'll be able to follow the lines. You'll be able to follow these lines all the way around. You follow the path to the beginning. But if you put the rest area in there, you can focus on maybe some sort of training regimen. You know, you're going to sprint the first leg and pace the second, sprint the fourth, pace the fifth, that kind of thing. Okay, so there we are. Paste again. We're going to do properties. And again, we're going to move this guy to the last rest area, or the last rest stop. And boom, there you go. So you have all your rest buoys out there. Start and stop, the course is done, you're finished. And that's how we use an overlay to trace through Google Earth Pro. So now I'm going to save it. We're going to save this, and we're going to save place as. And this will bring up a location. Our location will be here for now. We got to remember where that is. And I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call this, we're going to save it in the KML format. You want KML up there. And I'm going to call this Track Pro Open Water Training. We're just going to wipe out the one we did before. It's called Track Pro Open Water Training. That's what we're going to call it. TRK is the prefix code you want to have, and want to press save. Yes, we're going to replace that. Now, one thing we didn't go over here that you need to have is you must have this labeled definition of SmartSwim Community in the definition of your map somewhere. Select the hexagon path. We bring up properties, and right here in this area for description, we're going to type SmartSwim Community. And then you can add other, definition in here or other information. But the key is SmartSwim Community. ITY. There. You got to have that right. That name is critical. So that means we got to save it again. File. Save. Save my place as. Right over top of track, the prefix code, pre-open water training. Done. Save right over top of it. Yes, again. Now that definition is in there. So now when you go to upload from your phone, you will see that track will show up in the upload list. If you don't get that tag right, you won't see it when you try to upload from the phone. And we'll go over that in a few minutes. But essentially, I'm going to show you one more thing we can do here is how long is our course. So we can go up here under Tools, and we can add the ruler. And it says, okay, you got a line or you want to do a path. We can trace the path out from the beginning. So if we start at the boat launch and we hit set a point and we go and we can circumnavigate the entire course with the path line. You can see as it's accumulating. You see it's going up here at 500 meters. Now you're at 670 meters. Now we're at 800 meters. Now you're at 950 meters. And when you're done, that's 1,000. That's 1,000-meter course right there. You can either save it. We can just clear that out. It's 1,000 meters, what have you. So that has a measuring tool. Pro also offers measuring tools and other features. But the big feature here is the fact that we can add our image overlay. And what I'm going to do is bring that up, and I can show you here. We can turn this off. Let's cancel out of here. We'll go over here. If you don't want to see it with the overlay, all right, you can go into your list here, and you can see up top image overlay right there. We'll take the overlay off. And without the overlay, this is the course you're going to be tracing out. So we'll show you in the next video here. I will show you how we're going to take that file that we just saved, which is now stored on our system somewhere. We'll get that out. You got to remember where you're building everything, placing all your work. And you can see right in here, it's called Track Pro Open Water Training. And something else you can do is after you install Google Earth Pro, if you just click this after you save it, you can double click and reopen it. It'll reopen Google Earth for you, and it'll instantly plot or chart the course for you. So again, just another way to verify, yeah, that's right. It's the same process we used before to upload the Google Maps version, only this is the Google Pro version. You're going to use the same steps to email it to yourself, download it to your phone from your inbox, and then use a pairing app to upload to your SmartSwim. Okay, so now I'm going to open up my inbox. And with my inbox now open, I'm going to create a new message, new email, new message. And then up here, I'm going to make an email to myself. And I'm going to say Smart Swim Google Pro Upload Map Hexagon. Again, you can do your own method, come up with your own way of doing this. Upload to SS. And then you're going to hit the attachment button here. Browse this computer. You might store it another way. You can almost see right up there. That's probably it, but we're going to go to where we think it should be, here, where we last stored. And right here, and then you can see the list, and there it is. I'm going to select this guy. It's now attached to our email. I'm going to send it to myself. I hit the send button. If you go under sent folders, and you can see it's there, blinged, it's sent. So now what I'm going to do is go to my phone and open up my inbox. And I'm going to download the Google Earth Pro. There's the email there. I'm going to open that up. I'm going to download the map we just created in Google Earth Pro. You can see it's asking me to open it. We can, if we have, I have a GPX Viewer installed, so I'm going to just open that with GPX Viewer. Really good tool there. Just to verify, hey, is that the map I'm talking about? Is that the map I want today? And you'll see it automatically opens, and oh yeah, there's your hexagonal view. This is on my phone, so I know that's the proper one. I've downloaded it into my downloads folder on my phone. I'm now going to exit my inbox, and then we're going to open up our Smart Swim pairing app right here, and I'm going to connect to my Smart Swim. Give it a few minutes. We're now connected. Now I'm going to say upload, and I'm going to pick GPS track, which is the course we just made. I'm going to pick GPS track, and you'll see right at the top of the list the course that you want to upload. I'm going to pick that one. So yeah, that's correct. It's a Track Pro Open Water Training from GPS, from a Google Maps Pro build. I'm going to say OK. It's going to upload, push it. It's now on my Smart Swim. We say yes, OK. So now in our Smart Swim, we can open up the configuration tool, and we'll go over to the configuration tool. In here, we'll be able to pick now the Google Earth Pro. Open that up. You see show tracks. We want to go down to 2, and you can see the course. It says Open Water Training. We're going to change that to Track Pro Open Water Training. Boom. This concludes the video on creating GPS maps and course maps that you can follow while you're training or swimming with your Smart Swim. Thank you for watching.